G'day and welcome to Reliability Hero, where we talk with maintenance and reliability people. Few things excite them more than making machines and equipment do more than they were ever designed to do. Faster, safer, longer, and more reliably. Whether you take minerals out of the ground, keep power plants running, or fix and maintain rail networks, aeroplanes, conveyor belts, or turbines, we acknowledge you for keeping economies moving. I'm Andrew Daddo, and this podcast is brought to you by the mainstream community. Two guests this time around, but I want to start with the CEO of Mainstream and one of the founders, that's Chris Carroll, and just get an understanding of how the, international beast that is now Mainstream began. Where did it start for you, Chris? What was the first inkling that you had an idea?
Mainstream started small, Andrew. My co-founder and wife today, Lisa, was working for a manufacturing workshop company when all the Japanese, sexy productivity terms were hitting Australia in the mid-90s, TPM and Lean and Kaizen and all that stuff. And she was trying to sell TPM workshops to manufacturing companies, and people kept on saying, we'd love to come to the workshop, but we are busy trying to select and implement CMMSs, which is computerized maintenance management software. So she said to the company she was working for, how about we do a conference for maintenance managers selecting CMMSs? They said they weren't interested. She said, I'm leaving. I'm going to start my own. Met me at the same time, said, hey, I'm doing this. Why don't we do it together? And Mainstream was born as a maintenance conference for maintenance managers to implement computerized maintenance management software to manage their plants, sites, mines, and facilities.
Okay, so was it a stretch? I mean, obviously it wasn't a stretch in your mind to do it, but it would, you could think if you could have a conference for almost anything, but then a conference for maintenance people, you'd probably go, that wouldn't jump out as an odd thing. I know chance. What we'll do.
Chance.
Let's get the bloody guys who are. So it wouldn't sort of come up that way, would it?
No.
So how hard was it to sell the idea?
We didn't even think about it at the time because we just fell into it. I mean, both Lisa and I have psych backgrounds. We were in our mid-20s.
Psychology backgrounds?
Yeah, no one had an engineering background or had worked on a plant, didn't know anything about maintenance. We were just good at listening to people.
Yeah. And
we knew that they needed help. And very quickly, even though we branded the conference around software and systems, very quickly, almost every topic that came up at the conference was about people. It was about people and training and change management and getting leadership to approve budget and getting initiatives over the line. It's still a bit like that today.
Yeah, no, I think it's actually a lot like that. So there's a technical aspect to the conference, obviously, but the underlying thing is the people who attend and the welfare of the people. So yeah. in a work sense, but also in a productivity sense, but also in an emotional sense as well. So there's always an underlying, how do we get people to talk to each other?
Yeah.
Because that's how problems are solved.
Exactly.
Right. So is that the intent? I mean, you've done other conferences you guys have with the Eventful
We did,
group.
But we started with this, Andrew.
This was the first one?
This was the very first one. We went on from that to something which was topics which are seemingly easier to do conferences around, like HR managers and finance managers, and then the whole world of SAP arrived. We did all the Mastering SAP conferences and stuff like that. But we started with Mainstream, looking after an issue that was big for maintenance managers at the time.
Okay. Are you surprised with how it grew? This one?
Yes and no. I mean, it's a life's work. We've been at it for 28 years, So we're looking after the same group of people, a group of people who are playing very important, unglamorized, in the background roles for big mining companies, big power companies. They keep aeroplanes in the air. They keep the lights on. They keep bread and milk and chocolates coming off the production lines. Yeah.
So you got, at this conference, Rio, BHP, Qantas, Mars.
We've got Anglo American sitting next to me.
Yeah, so that's just... And then Drew Troyer, we're going to get to Drew, who's the global head of maintenance and reliability for Anglo American.
Yep.
practitioner, consultant, educator. What's the attraction? So big names is what I'm saying. It's like it's not sort of little companies. Conferences are often full of little people trying to get their way in to become bigger. This is the big guys coming in to get better. Yeah. So what is the attraction for you, Drew? You've been coming for a long time.
Yeah. So thanks for giving me a chance to speak to the industry, but my first mainstream was the year 2000. So I'm now 24 years in. Not far behind.
What a shame you can't say last century. Yeah. I remember last century.
And so what's interesting is at the time that, and I'm not sure whose idea it was to invite me to come to mainstream.
I do. I'll tell you afterwards. I remember.
Okay. At the time, this is going to seem odd, but I was running the largest conference within this space in the world, in the U.S. It was called Reliable Plant, because I was then affiliated with a company called Noria Corporation. And I had always been interested in working in Australia with mining industry and kind of expanding. We were expanding globally. And so I came over and I did my presentation. Interestingly, I'm doing a variation of exactly the same presentation today.
Right.
Yeah, from back then. And I love the vibe, all right? So a lot of these conferences tend to be very technically oriented. But when you look at what goes wrong in a manufacturing plant or mine or processing plant, 80-90% of what goes wrong is the people. It's human factors. It's either the organization failing to provide the people with the standards and the guidance or the training or whatever. 80% of what goes wrong is the people. So it really connected to me because this conference was not all about the tool or the software, but it was really about the people, and I just loved it. I don't know when I made that quote that I think this is the best conference of its type anywhere in the world, and I've been to all of them.
Yeah.
Right.
So are they different?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean this. I hope this doesn't sound racist, but I'm assuming that a German conference would be significantly different.
Pretty buttoned down. Yeah, pretty buttoned down. In German conference. I think the conferences in the U.S. Have historically focused more on the gadgets and things of that nature, or been more of a trade show.
Okay.
I like the
for shiny things.
Yeah,
so
for shiny things.
Okay.
Massive trade show thing. I think that the focus on the people is really what drew me to the conference, and the level of engagement they manufacture this level of engagement. It looks organic, but I know that it looks it's like a duck in the water with these guys. They look very calm on the surface, but they're paddling like hell underneath.
Is that
to
true?
create this engagement? Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
So is that part of your plan, Chris, and for the mainstream team to actually, I mean, obviously to work hard to make it look and be as good as possible, but to make it look like it's pretty cool and laid. You're all pretty, you're all getting around in denim shirts and it's a pretty laid back vibe.
Yeah, I mean, I think the duck analogy is great. One of the things that happens in countries. I mean, I'm South African living in Australia. One of the things that happens in countries like South Africa, and Drew would know, he's working for a global mining company who started in South Africa, and Australia is the same, and New Zealand's the same. Is we're so far away from the big markets, and in our business, how conferences and expos get done in Germany or London or anywhere in the US, that you take on what you can gather from those places, and then you just invent the rest because you have to. So a lot of the stuff, like around the people stuff that Drew's talking about, I remember we had an epiphany 3 or 4 years into it. Like the technical stuff is the reason people are going to come here. Let's keep talking about the fact that we do condition monitoring, we do root cause, we do maintenance strategy, all that stuff. But really, when they come here, we're gonna infiltrate this program with a whole lot of people stuff. Change management, helping people train better, helping people work closely with their leadership, helping introverts and extroverts work together, help
Yeah.
managers understand why reliability engineers are such unique individuals, how to get the best out of them, as opposed to treating them as sort of genius engineering geeks that nobody understands.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the duck on top seems like that well, we just like sort of cruised into that. It's obvious. The feet underneath, there's lots of intention, and there's lots of reason behind going that way.
And are you surprised, and also Drew, are you surprised that there are things like, so there's meditation this time, it's a meditation speaker, there's a guy, a miner from Mount Isa talking about yoga, and he's funny, he looks like a miner, and he's, big and hairy, and he's not a big, but his deep core is very cool and calm, and he's doing that for
he's saving lives.
He is, without question. Then you've got the work shirt boys trademark, with their shirts. Is that mirrored at the conferences, the other ones that you will go to in America?
I've never seen that. I think that, and maybe it's the fact that Chris and Lisa both have psychology backgrounds and kind of really hone in on the people side, but they're bringing topics in to what would elsewhere be kind of a dry conference. They're bringing topics like this in. The leadership deal today was just amazing. I'm looking forward to this afternoon. They bring these topics in that get people thinking about things other than just the nuts and bolts of root cause analysis, condition monitoring, work management, so on and so forth. I today am serving on something that I'm very passionate about, a diversity panel. And I know I don't represent the look of diversity, but I have it in my heart, right?
I don't know what the look of diversity. I'm just wondering.
It's not 60-year-old white male.
Yeah, right.
I can tell you what it's not.
Harvard-educated 60-year-old white man from America.
Yeah, that's not really the look of diversity. Okay. But they're bringing these kinds of topics in. Obviously, we kicked off with sustainability. All right, these are things that this audience needs to be thinking about. But, one of the things that's really challenging at a conference that they pull off better than any conference I've ever seen, and a lot of it, I think, is manufactured, meaning that you put a lot of effort in creating the engagement among the different stakeholder groups. For instance, Lisa kicked off the conference with, here's how you go meet people, right? I've never seen that at any other conference, and she does it beautifully.
What would happen if, like Americans, again, I know it's a broad statement, but you would say you're very, very good speakers, and you're very good at communicating. So if someone were to start a conference like that in America, how would it be? Please don't tell us how to talk to each other, or would it be a revelation of, oh my God, it's a new way in?
That's a good question, and I have to tell you that while I live in the U.S., I haven't really worked as an American leader since about 2007.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have become much more a global thought leader. I work for a company that's got a global footprint, nothing in the U.S. Nothing. Okay. Yeah. So
just back to 2000, when you got the phone call, can you come and attend our conference?
Yeah, it would have been a phone call in those days. It would have been a landline.
What is a landline call? Yeah.
Now, if it's 6 o'clock here, it'll be
exactly
7:30 there. Evening. Good evening.
Yeah.
What was it that made you come over?
I immediately, and I don't know if it was you that called. I can't really.
I did call.
It was.
Shall I just tell you how?
Please.
So we both knew the same person who, God bless him, has passed away now. A guy called Bonds Hart, who was the CEO of a very interesting and innovative and disruptive software company in the space. Who actually, that company was called Meridium and went and got sold to General Electric and has been rolled up in that now. But he came to a conference as a sponsor while he was trying to break into the Australian market, because he wanted to go after the mining market, which was just exploding in the West at that stage. And he said, have you ever thought about having international speakers here? I said, no. And I was thinking,
Who's gonna pay
okay,
for the
$5,000 US dollars for this and that, and where we'd put them, because our speakers come for 2 days, and they, And so no, there's a young guy who is the CEO of a company that I know, who I think would just I think the words he used was rock the house. It was some American term, they're like rock the house or something like that. Right. And he gave me Drew's number. So I just called Drew a couple of months later and said, hey, this is who I am. We've just had bonds out here. He says, you must come back. In fact, he said, you have to come here next year.
But it's one thing to make the call. It's another one to get the call and then act on it. So what was it that made you act on it?
I liked Chris.
Really?
Yeah, and it's a very tight-knit group, the mainstream group, and I kind of feel like I'm sort of part of the family. I've been affiliated for so long, but I like Chris, and I said, yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
It's interesting. So they're coming in from their exchange groups now, which is another new idea that came in last year, I think. Put 20 or so people together and talk about something that you wouldn't talk about in a small group, and everyone's... But you can hear the chatter as they're coming in for
continuing the conversation.
Yeah. So it's just and it is a constant, like to try and get everyone to sort of stop speaking and listen is possibly quite difficult, because there's so much to talk about, and yet you'd think with all due respect, hard geeks, nerds, engineers, possibly not the great communicators of the world, there's a lot of communication going on. Surely that's the point of the conference.
Yeah. Actually, I must correct you there. They're great communicators. Just because they're engineers and they're more introverts. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But you gotta create the opportunity for communication to happen and for them to listen to each other.
Yeah.
But they're very, very powerful communicators when given the space, and very, very powerful listeners as well.
I'm proud to say I've got an aeronautical engineering son.
Okay.
So,
as do I.
Yeah. So I get it, but you know what I mean. Like, it's not like an advertising group. It's not like travel people coming together and play
blah blah blah.
I get the feeling that when these guys are talking, they're actually saying things
absolutely
of some merit and weight.
Yeah.
It's with engineers. It is hard sometimes to get them to start talking. Maybe harder to get them to stop talking once they do get started.
All right. So where's the future? I know there's the UK next year for mainstream.
Yep.
Do you see a push into America? Is it like, are we looking at a global expansion? And
possibly we do. As you know, we do things. We do things slowly. So we'll be launching mainstream in Birmingham at the end of 2025.
Birmingham.
And we'll see how we go from there.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's exciting, though, isn't it?
We've got to get that right first. Yeah,
okay.
Very exciting. And different audience. Unlike Australia, which is heavy mining, and then utilities and power and rail and everything else. UK is big manufacturing.
All right. So do you address that audience the same way you address this audience?
Yes.
Like, are the rules the same?
Exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
Tried and tested.
Right.
Form an advisory team of people who work in industry, maintenance managers, reliability managers, VPs of asset management working for manufacturing companies, oil and gas companies, rail companies. Have a chat with them. Some who we know already, because we've been going for 28 years. They've spoken over here. We connected to them through other friends in the industry. Interview them, ask them what the issues are, build that network, write a white paper, identify what the hot topics are, circulate that, let that percolate, see what people say, iterate it, and then after a couple of months we know we've got the topics right, and then we slowly roll that out. Our plan isn't to go there and say we're the best maintenance reliability conference in the world. You've got to come. We've got to do it with their permission.
Yeah,
we've got to do it, with them.
And I think therein lies the success of mainstream, is that the research that goes into it. Yeah. Which again, back to we've got a bit of a duck going here.
Yeah.
Same thing. All right, great. Well, good luck.
Okay.
Drew, great to see you again.
It's a pleasure.
I will say that I've been watching you at this conference, and you're always in the middle of the front, in front of the speaker, and always highly attentive. Like, it's actually really interesting to watch you going, nodding the whole way, so it's obviously working.
Well, in particular, the last speaker is Ed Welch.
Yeah.
And Ed Welch is a beautiful human being. I've known Ed for a very, very
Welch,
long
Toyota.
time. Yeah, with Toyota. He brought me in to support Toyota, which led to a long working relationship. I always tell Ed, I'm not sure if you learned anything from me, but I learned a ton about what the Toyota production system is not a set of tools. So, bringing Ed in was a personal, I was just so delighted.
And that was the thing about his presentation at Mainstream this year, was that it wasn't about the tools.
No.
And he said that great line, we don't hire the hands, we hire the whole body.
That's correct.
And the mind. And I'm sitting there going, I was like, yes!
Yeah.
And I'm not even in the business.
Yeah.
So I loved it.
I think you're going to be chatting to Ed a little bit later on today, aren't you?
Yeah. So that will be a different podcast. Right.
Yeah.
All right.
But no,
Thank you very much, Chris and Drew.
I love the content. So despite the fact, you ask why am I, or you commented I'm very attentive, I'm continuing to learn.
Yeah.
Once you stop learning, you got a problem. So I continue to learn. I attend the presentations. I have the conversations. I'm thirsty for knowledge.
Right.
Curiosity is a big driver for me,
Okay.
and this is a great place for me to get nourished.
All right. And good luck on your panel this afternoon.
Thank you.
Good on you. Thanks, Chris.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Andrew.
Drew.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Reliability Hero. Keep the world running, and we'll catch you next time. This podcast was brought to you by the Mainstream community.